ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पांचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। अभ्रमं भंगरहितम् अजडं विमलं सदा आनन्दतीर्थमतुलं भजे तापत्रयापहं। चित्रैपदैश्च गम्भीरभावं विजयन्ति भाति श्रीजयतीर्थवा गजकेसरी व्यासतीर्थ गुरुर्भूयात् अस्मत् इष्टार्थ सिद्धे। जयति श्री गोविंद गोविंदो गोपीनाथ समदन गोपालः वक्ष्यामि यस्य कृपया प्रमेय रत्नावलीं सूक्ष्मं भक्त्याभासेनापि तोषं ददाने धर्माध्यक्षे विश्वनिस्तारि नाम्नि नित्यानन्दाद्वैत चैतन्य रूपे तत्त्वे तस्मै आनंद तीर्थ नाम सुखमय धाम यतिर्जियात् संसारार्णवतारणं यम इह जनाः कीर्तयन्ति बुधाः। भवति विचिन्त्या विदुषां निरवकरा गुरुपरम्परा नित्यम् एकान्तित्वं सीदयति यतोदयति येन हरितोषः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। We were discussing about the second Prameya, which is yes. Which was the next Prameya that we were discussing? My voice is clear to all of you?
Yes. Amnaya Eka Vedyah Hari.
Yes. So Krishna is known only through the Vedas. That is the point that we were discussing. So the first objection that came is how can it happen? Everything is, the Brahman is transcendental to everything. In Yajurveda, Yato Vacho Vacha Manasa, what we talk and what our mind goes, till where our mind reaches, the absolute truth is beyond that. So words and mind tried to reach it, they could not reach and they came back halfway. So how are we to understand that? But there is also in the same Shastras that Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharati Katha Adiyante Cha Madhye Cha Haris Sarvatra Gyate. It is the Supreme Lord Hari who is glorified in the Vedas and Ramayana and Mahabharata. So it is through the sound vibration alone that the Supreme Lord can be known. So that is the understanding we have to have. Now, we also discussed about Veda Apaurushyatva, why there are different objections to Apaurushyatva and how they can all be overcome. Ultimately, we were able to establish that society to know the truth. Without revealed scriptures, we cannot know the truth because people have four defects. Every Purusha has four defects. Brahma, Pramada, Vipralipsa, Karnapata. He commits mistakes, he is illusioned, he has tendency to cheat, and his senses are imperfect. So even if all these problems are not there, there may be one or two of these problems. So that is why every Purusha who speaks these things is not perfect, and so his Vani is not perfect. Better rely on Apurusha. One of the objections to this argument is you have not seen every Purusha. You have not seen everybody. in the world. Let us search. We may get one Sarvajna, one perfectly knowable person who knows everything. And then we will have him as an authority. So the Buddhists say Buddha is that Sarvajna. The Jains say Jina is that Sarvajna. Or somebody says Patanjali is the Sarvajna. Somebody may say Manu is the Sarvajna. Somebody may say Vyasa is the Sarvajna. They will all, somebody may say Jesus is the Sarvajna. Somebody may say Muhammad is. So let's assign somebody who knows everything. And his words are perfect for us. Do we really need Vedas? You all understood the question?
Yes.
Even in our society, we can say no, that our Prabhuji said that, our Maharaj said that, our senior devotee said that, our leader said that. So these things we can say. Now, first thing is, we are not sure when somebody says that easy Sarvajna or no, easy all knowable, we are not sure. We are going to evaluate the person to check his all knowability, and to evaluate him, we ourselves are not all knowable. So that is the first problem, that we ourselves don't have complete knowledge to evaluate him. How are we going to decide that this person is all knowable? That is the first thing. Even if he is all knowable, something he would have said out of joke to misguide somebody or to joke about it. So a person can say that something which is apaurushiya, which personal involvement is not there, such type of jokes and all are not possible. But a person can make jokes. What to speak of ordinary persons? The Supreme Lord, when he came as Buddha, he misguided people by telling Vedas are apramana. Nindasi yajna hridaya rahaha shruti chatam sadaya hridaya darshita pashuphatam keshavadrita buddha sharira jai jagdisha. So Buddha misguided people by saying that Vedas are not pramana. Now, do we accept Buddha? Buddha is the Supreme Lord. Then do we accept his statements that Vedas are not pramana? What do you say?
No.
No.
So we are going to the extent of rejecting Buddha, who is the Supreme Lord himself, for Vedas. It may be circumstantial for some circumstance, but why we are doing so? Because a Purusha can do these things, whereas Apurusha Vedas are not created by anyone, so such problems cannot exist. They are eternally there. They are always existing. They are not written at some point of time. That is why they will not have these problems. Okay. So that is the point we should understand from this. Okay. Second thing, the second argument in this case is that
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question Prabhu regarding this first one.
yes.
But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it is written where it is written that these are the four defects, and there it is written that Arsa Vakya doesn't have these four defects. So Arsa means yes,
Can you
Arsa
repeat?
Vakya. Then Arsa Vakya doesn't have these defects. So Arsha means it is from Rishi. Rishi, I think word Arsha comes. So Rishi is also what we understand is Paurush, Purush. So then how to understand this?
Yeah, Madhvacharya explains that Arsha Pramana is having two categories again. Some Arsha Pramanas are in line with Shruti, some Arsha Pramanas are not in line with Shruti. The the Rishi Pramana which is in line with Shruti is Apaurusha itself. If it is not in line with Shruti, then it follows the standard which is for Purusha. For example, I am also saying all these things. Correct. I am a Purusha who is saying. Otherwise, if everything is a Purusha, then I cannot give class. I am also saying some things. Then our acharyas have said some things. They have written some granthas and all those things. So how to evaluate them? How much they are in line with Shruti, that much they are accepted. So any Paurusha granthas are accepted as much as they are in line with Shruti. So Arsha Prayoga, if it is directly from Shruti, it is accepted. If it is not directly from Shruti, then how much it conveys the message of Shruti, to that extent it is accepted. So ultimately, Shruti is the Pramana, that is the understanding.
Yes, Prabhu, I have also the same understanding because Jiva Goswami also says in the same line. But I checked that, but there is nothing written something like this. That it is
No,
written.
that
That's
is
why many people
previously said.
say that those who are liberated, they
That
don't have
is
these
said.
difficulties.
No, no. Doesn't, but still, at least it can happen. I demonstrated a case where Supreme Lord has misguided certain sections of people, for which we are rejecting the words of Supreme Lord himself. Thing is, samai samavaya bhavat. There is no point wasting time. It's a risk. Now, suppose somebody says something and you believe it, you do a few years of sadhana believing that, considering the, you realize that there is some problem of time. So that time is valuable. We do Ekadashi Upasa, fasting on Ekadashi we do. We take prasada on Dwati. It involves austerity. Krishna Janmashtami you have to fast. And many other people take Chaturmasa Vrata. Now Adhik Masa, Purushottam Masa going on, they take austerities for Purushottam. So there are so many things which involve critical vratas and fastings and austerities. So a same man will not take a risk of believing somebody and later that becoming negative. Instead, if we are sure that somebody, the Guru is Shabde Parecha Nishnatam, he is Shabde and Pare, he is transcendental and he is fixed in the words of the Vedas. So that is the right way of evaluating a Guru or an authority or an Acharya, that they are repeating the words of the Vedas. So that makes them perfect. It is not that they are perfect and that is why whatever they say automatically becomes correct. That is correct, no doubt about that. But then there is a risk that somebody who is not perfect can also claim perfection, saying, I am your Guru. So kindly follow me. To avoid those risks, what a bona fide spiritual master does is he repeats the message of Vedas. If you study the Bhaktivedanta purports, Prabhupada's purports, he gives so many references for his sentences. He gives references from Mundaka Upanishad, from the Shvetashwara Upanishad, from the Katha Upanishad. So many Shruti Vakyas, Smriti Vakyas, he gives us references for each of these statements, including Brahma Sutras. Why does he have to do that? He can say that I am the founder of the Krishna conscious movement. I'm spiritual master for all of you. So when I say worship Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and accept the soul, it's finished. It has to be done. Why he has to take the trouble of giving references? Because he's setting a role model that we have to accept Apaurusheya Vakya as the Paramottama. That is the idea. You got it?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So people are, it is sanity to not take risk and accept the Apaurusha Vakyas as Paramapramana. And everything, it is, everything has to be understood in context of that. Even in this, it is said, Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Upabramaya. Now, Vedas are themselves so difficult, they have to be understood only with the help of Itihasas and Puranas. Without the study of Itihasas and Puranas, we cannot understand the topic of the Vedas. We will be lost in that. So that is why Itihasas and Puranas are required. Not that they are a replacement for Vedas. Many times when we start reading Tattva Sandarbha, uh, even translations also give that, and we also start thinking that gradually when the Puranas come, when the Itihasas come, when the Mahabharata comes, finally when Bhagavatam comes, we are convinced that Vedas have to be left and only this has to be studied. No, no. Whereas if you read the original Samskrita, that is not at all the message. The message is that Vedas are the most important, and these other pramanas are meant to make our understanding of Vedas better. So that is the understanding we have to derive from this. Is it clear till now? Any doubts, any questions till now? Or the Veda Apaurushatva is clear?
Meaning of Vedas, matlab, to understand meaning of Vedas. Purana helps. That's why they are called Purana.
Yes.
And gives the example of like a golden bangle. Golden bangle cannot be joined by something else. It's
Hmm. Correct. Golden bangle cannot be joined by. Your voice is breaking.
by some other metal. So
Yes.
in that sense, if some we cannot, then it has Purana. But through Purana, we can understand that.
Yes. Yes. It
Purana.
definitely fits properly well with the Vedas. So we cannot neglect the Puranas and just study the Vedas. That is the idea. Okay, I will read the next section. साक्षात् परंपराभ्यां वेद गायति माधवम सर्वे वेदांताः किल साक्षात् अपरेत्येभ्य परंपरया. Okay, so साक्षात् परंपराभ्यां वेद गायन्ति माधवम. It is said that the Vedas always uh, glorify the Supreme Lord Madhava only and nobody else. But there are two divisions of the Vedas which glorify Madhava in a different ways, two different ways. Do you know which are the two divisions?
Sakshat and Parampara.
Yes,
As
Sakshat and
word.
Parampara, yes. But what we know, in the terms that we know, do you know which are the two divisions?
Shruti and Smriti.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Somebody else would like to try? Just a minute, Prabhu. Somebody else would like to try. Which are the two divisions? I gave some hint yesterday.
Is it Shruti and Smriti? I'm not sure.
Mataji, your voice is low.
Hare Krishna. I'm not
Yes.
sure, but is it Shruti or and Smriti?
No, within the Shruti only there are two sections. Within the Vedas or
Okay.
within the Shruti itself. So the two sections are, one is of karma and one is of Brahma, or what we call as Karma Kanda and Brahma Kanda. So in ISKCON, Karma Kanda is a very bad word, correct? They're all Karma Kandis. So what is the meaning of Karma Kanda? Karma Kanda is the karma section of the Vedas. Just like in Ramayana, there is Balakanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda, Yuddha Kanda. So similarly, in the Vedas, there is Karma Kanda and Brahma Kanda. Karma Kanda will deal with what karmas have to be done, and Brahma Kanda deals with what is the ultimate goal of all. So these are the two sections that are there in the Vedas. Now, the words used by Baldev Vidyabhushan is Sakshat and Parampara. These are the two words to describe. Sakshat is used to describe the Brahma Kanda or the Upanishads. Upanishads specifically, others also deal at different levels. It's not that others don't have anything related to absolute truth. Others also deal with absolute truth, but mostly Upanishads have majority of matters related to absolute truth. That's why they are called Saksha and Parampara. Parampara is the section which has the karmas to be done, the rituals to be performed. Okay. Now, English translation of this, they have translated it as direct and indirect. In the English translation of the book, they have translated these two things as direct and indirect. I beg to differ with the translation. I am okay to discuss this, debate it, or contest it, or if you all differ from me, I'm okay with that also. But personally, I would translate it differently. I have used the word literal for Sakshat and mediated for Parampara. I will tell you the reason for that. Literal means the word literally glorifies Hari. The statements of the Upanishads, they are literal glorification of absolute truth. Whereas parampara means the knowledge is coming through parampara because it has Shruti mantras. The mantras have to be chanted, the rituals have to be followed. All this should come in parampara. So it involves a great history where they know which Brahmana has to do what rituals. There are four types of Brahmanas: Uta, Udgata, Advaryu, and Brahma. Four types of Brahmanas. Each Brahmana is of one Veda: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, and they all know what to do because they have learned the Shruti mantras in parampara because it has to be recited in the same tune, in the same swara. It has to be recited. So that is why they have got this knowledge of karma in parampara. So the beautiful word used by Baldev Vidyabhushana, the perfect choice of word is parampara. And parampara, if we translate it as per my understanding, if we translate it as indirect, then it loses its flavor because indirect means useless. Oh, that is what our understanding has been all along. That direct means something which is directly used, indirect means something which is useless. That is why I differed from the English translation. I thought of presenting it as literal and mediated. Literal means you take as it is the sentence, you will understand what Brahman is. Whereas mediated means there is a process. You take the sentences, use them to follow a process, some rituals to be followed, and those rituals eventually will purify because some people they are directly not on the level of knowledge. They will get purified gradually, and then they will reach the understanding that okay, the knowledge of Supreme Lord has to be acquired. So that way, it's a mediated process to get the knowledge. So this what we call karma kanda, actually it's not purely material, fruitive activities we say. So definitely a lot of people have desire to perform fruitive activities, and that is why they worship various devatas and they perform so many rituals. Eventually they want to take the somarasa, they want to go to heavenly planets. In heavenly planets there is drinking of somarasa and there is lot of pleasure there, lot of happiness that is there. But what happens is Tetu Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishadam Shine Punne Martyalokam Vishanti. Evam Trai Dharma Manupanna Gata Gata Kama Kama Lapanti. So one who follows this Trai Dharmas, the Dharma of the Trai or the Vedas, they go to Swargaloka, enjoy happiness, and eventually they come back to this world. So similarly, second chapter says Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Many times this shloka is misunderstood. So it says Traigunya Vishaya Veda, and further what does it say? Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Or people say Nirveda Bhavarjuna. They take it as Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nirveda Bhavarjuna. Means Vedas speak about three modes, you leave the Vedas. That is not the understanding. Vedas speak about three modes, you rise beyond three modes. That is the right understanding we have to derive. Similarly, most of the people are with material desires. That is the nature of the system of the material world. And all these people with material desires, if they are just left, if there is no direction according to Vedas, what will happen to them? What will happen to people with material desires if Vedas don't direct them?
They will grow animalistic.
Yes, they will anyway follow, satisfy their material desires, but they will do it in a sinful way and they will become more animalistic. The perfect example is the modern society where there is no Vedic regulation on it. Now, at least the Vedas create some regulations and it brings people to the path of dharma, ethics. So that is one important point of Apurushyatva, that there should be some ethics in society. You cannot have a society of unethical. Now, suppose I manufacture some ethics. I make a list of some ethics. That is okay for me, but it may not be okay for you. If you make a list of some ethics or dharma, that will not be okay for me. So we will conflict with each other. So let's say we will all sit together and make a list of ethics. They are fine for us, but for another group it will not be fine. Let's say the whole state of Karnataka makes a list of makes a constitution with what to do, what not to do. But the other states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, they may not agree. We have a constitution for India. Republic of India has formally announced a constitution on 26th of January 1950. So we have a constitution for India, but there is no guarantee that Pakistan or China or USA has to agree with our constitution, right? Right or wrong?
Yes.
Right. Yes, Prabhu.
So similarly, if we take to any level, there will be some people who may not agree with the other ones. Why? Because it's a Purusha. Is there anything which is common for all, which all can accept? So something which is not done by anyone, nobody has claimed that he has put his thoughts in it or he has a selfish interest in it. If you get anything like that, which is not done by anyone, which it doesn't involve anybody's selfish interest, then that will be the most neutral for all of us. So that is Apurusha. That is Veda. Here we are proposing that Vedas are one such documents which are extremely neutral because they are not done by one person. They are not done by a person. They are completely neutral for that reason. That is what our proposal is. So then why not accept it? And it's well accepted by great sages and the history says that. So that is why these shastras, they are most ethical. They are most ethical guide. Now, because they have to cater to a large audience, and most of the audience are involved in materialistic desires, so Vedas give materialistic facility for satisfying their material desires. Okay, you perform these yajnas, you perform these karmas, and at least come to the platform of dharma jignasa. At least start being ethical. The first Mimamsa Sutra, the first sutra of Purva Mimamsa is Athato Dharma Jignasa. Now that you have got a human body, start inquiring about Dharma. And the first Uttara Mimamsa or Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jignasa. Now that you have understood what Dharma is, start inquiring about Brahma, absolute truth. Next level. So at least to become human beings, you should have Dharma in you. And Vedas give the facility for most of, so these what we call karma kanda and all, they may not be there for transcendentalists, but at least for those who are new, those who have nothing, no connection with God in any way, or those who are just neutral people, this will help them to establish some sane society, and they are going to be majority in society. So now, if you are given a choice that you have to settle in a place like Sringeri or Srirangam or some Kashi, Varanasi, or you have to settle in a place like Las Vegas or some other place where there is so much sense enjoyment, and you want to practice bhakti, which is more conducive for you?
Dham.
Yeah, even if it is not a dham or a holy place as pure, but even if there is some religiosity there, some dharma is being practiced there, that environment will be more conducive than the environment where no dharma is practiced. Correct? So now you have majority of people around you whom you can train on dharma by the Vedas. And in that, if you settle as devotees, that environment will be more conducive for you. That is why the Karma Kanda section or the ritual section is there in the Vedas to take care of majority. That is why the word parampara is used. And if I translate parampara as indirect, then it will lose its taste, because that means that the whole Karma Kanda will be useless. It will be of no use. Only Sakshat Vedanta will be useful, but that is not the right case. Hence, I would like to translate this as literal instead of direct and mediated instead of indirect. So that is the understanding we get in this case. Okay. So now Kantimala gives a beautiful example of Mount Meru. So, Mount Meru is very huge. It is described in the Shastras as extremely huge. It is so huge that we cannot scale it up. We cannot go to the top of it, or we cannot. But at least from far we can see. If you go to some place in the Himalayas, it is mentioned that from a distance you can see Mount Meru. So something is there. So similarly, Supreme Lord is like that. He is indescribable. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. Yes, he cannot be described by words, but at least something can be described by what? Through the words. Otherwise, if Vedas were not there, then there was no hope to describe anything about the Supreme Lord. So the sound vibrations are so subtle, they are powerful enough to at least give some idea of what he is. That is why it is necessary to understand, it is necessary to accept that the Supreme Lord exists and he is known only through the Vedas. Okay. So the same logic that Brahman lacks jati, he lacks qualities, is nirguna. So how can something nirguna be described by words? So for that, Baldev Vidya Bhushan gives Shruti Pramana. Sarve Veda Yat Padam Amananti. The spiritual nature is the one which Vedas described. Spiritual nature which all the Vedas describe means the spiritual nature or the nature or the Supreme Lord is described by the Vedas. So this is Shruti Pramana. We cannot use our logic to refute what is already in Shrutis. The Supreme Lord
He wants
is
to be right in
known
the
through
boat.
Shastra.
So I just gave him his food and water, and he's just hanging out there. So should I leave him up there, or should I leave him down here?
Do you mind if he's down here? Or what is your schedule? What did you want to do?
Sorry,
And
Prabhu,
how am I gonna record if he's down here? Like,
Well-
some other work to do.
you are
Yeah,
saying
bring him
something.
down here and bring his hammer.
Okay, maybe by mistake. Okay, and further, Bhagavad Gita also says, Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedya. Through all the Vedas, it is the Supreme Lord alone who is described. This point yesterday we discussed. How many of you remember that it is the Supreme Lord alone who is described through all the Vedas? Although there are stutis, there are mantras of different devatas, they first glorify the Supreme Lord and then they glorify that particular demigod. So any mantra which is chanted, any Shruti mantra or Shruti Vakya which is chanted, we can meditate that it is a glorification of the Supreme Lord because it's actually a glorification of the Supreme Lord. That is the point we should understand. Okay. Now there is one objection that is coming up. Just a minute. Okay, so this we will see next. So why is the parampara path required at all? Because the sakshat patha is very rare. The literal path is very rare. Very few people study the Upanishads and take trouble to understand absolute truth. It is said in Bhagavad Gita 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvata. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So this is the reality that very few people will take up to the Jnana Marga or the deep study of Vedanta, Brahma Sutras and Upanishads. For most of the people, this is not going to enter their head. So you have to give some path for them. So that requires, that is why this path of rituals is given, the path of parampara is given, which they will follow, and that way gradually they will be purified. So in one sense, if the everyone was expected to be only on the Upanishadic path and the karma rituals were not to be there, then 99% of the population would be ineligible for anything. Only very few will be able to take up. So you understand the beautiful plan of the Lord, how compassionate He is and how wonderful He is. Okay. Now, one question comes in between that, yes, agreed that there is a direct path, there is a path of the parampara. The direct path is for those who are transcendental, who are on the path of knowledge. Now we are devotees. We have taken up initiation. We are chanting Hare Krishna. We are on the Vaishnava path at different levels. Do we have to take up two, or do we have to take any interest in the path of karma? We don't have to do any of these things, right? Because we are transcendental already, and we are on the topmost path of direct devotion. This will be a disturbance if we do it. Yes.
As long as we are holding this body, we have to perform karma, and it's also and karma with bhakti is also described as karma yoga.
Hmm. But the problem is that becomes mishra, no? Karma mishra bhakti. It doesn't become pure devotion.
I think it depends on true consciousness, not like every, because it depends on consciousness. Externally, every action can be ascribed in karma, and the same action can be bhakti also. Depends on consciousness.
Hmm.
Also, Bhagwan also says in the Gita that it's not possible to be completely out of karma while we are holding this body. So even if we decide that we are not going to do any karma, it's not possible.
Yes, you are all saying correct. First thing is our senses are not perfect. What does second chapter of Bhagavad Gita discuss? First, Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. Shishyastayam sadimam tam prapanna. He becomes a disciple, prapanna. He becomes a disciple of his spiritual master. So he gets initiation. Then after Arjuna gets initiation, he is given the knowledge of, he hears lectures and he is given spiritual. Then afterwards, he becomes little peaceful. He becomes happy. There he becomes a sthita prajna. His consciousness is well situated. And finally, the end of the chapter is once you become sthita prajna, you will go back to Godhead. Correct? This is the content of the second chapter. Now, is this not the life of a typical devotee, that he comes to Krishna Bhakti disturbed, he takes initiation. Once he takes initiation and he also hears the lectures, then he will understand spiritual knowledge. Then once he understands the spiritual knowledge, then he is supposed to become more stable. And that stable person, we all think that eventually will go back to God. So now, the whole Bhagavad Gita is finishing here. There is nothing else left to discuss. So practically what we understand as spiritual, everything is discussed here. But no, we have 16 more chapters because we are in this body. Krishna begins the Arjuna asks the third question, third chapter at the beginning of third chapter, why you are engaging in me in war? When I know now that I just have to chant Hare Krishna and go back to God. Why I have to do war? So Krishna says that your senses are still not under control. And artificially, if you try to control your senses, thinking yourself as a pure devotee, what will happen? What is
Mithyachari sauchyate.
Yes, you will be a pretender. And so what you have to do? Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokayam. You have to perform for yajna. You have to perform your karma in a way that it will help in yajna. Traditionally, if you see, all the occupations were centered around yajna. Farmer grows grains, that grains are given for yajna. Then bullock cart, somebody, carpenter makes a bullock cart so that it is used to bring grains for the sake of yajna. The mason, a person in masonry, he constructs a temple, yajna shala, so that it will be used for yajna. The brahmana who comes there, he does yajna. So every occupation, the king there sponsors for the yajna. Every occupation is centered around yajna. So that is why it becomes yajna centric life. And evam pravartitam chakram nanu varthaitya dayurindriyagamo mogam par. It is a responsibility of every generation to continue this yajna cycle that's happening. So every generation is responsible. The present day occupations cannot directly feed to yajna. We are not able to, for example, if you make some chips or if you make some software and if you make some AI tools and all, they don't directly go into yajna. You may get money from that and buy something from the market, and that way you may do, but directly it's not going for yajna. So that is why there is a need of yajna cycle to continue. Okay, now that's fine. Yajna has to be there, but that is for those whose senses are not under control. Suppose there is somebody whose senses are under control, who has become pure. Does he have any responsibility to do? He doesn't have anything to do. He is perfect already. So he doesn't have to do anything. Yes.
No, Lok Sangraha he has to do.
That's the point. So Naivatasya kritena artha na kriteneha kashchana. There is no need to do it. I know he is already pure. He doesn't have to purify himself. I know. But there is no need to not do also. Is there a rule that if he does it will be a problem? Then that means he is not pure. If he is pure, then should be no rule this way, nor there should be rule that way. You are getting my point?
Yes.
Yes. So if he is pure,
Matlab he has no reason to do it, and he also has no reason not to do it.
yes. You cannot say that if he does it, it becomes wrong. Just like if you say, you cannot say that he is a jnani, he is a bhakta. If he performs this, if you misses performing the ritual, it's okay. You say that. No? Similarly, if he does it also, it's okay. It's not that he will incur sin out of doing it. But there is one important reason why he has to do it. What is that important reason? Na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshet sarvakarmani vidvan yukta. People are less intelligent. What they will think? Our senior Prabhuji is not doing it. Why we should do it? Our senior Prabhuji has left it. That means that devotees should leave it. We will also leave it. So that is why what happens is everyone will start living dharma. Krishna says about himself, Yadi hyam navarteyam karyam karmanya tandrata mama vartaman vartante manushya. If I did not do my prescribed duties, what will happen? Sankarasya kartasam. I will be responsible for creating Varna Sankara. That is why I am also doing my duties properly. If you read the Bhagavatam, where Narad Muni visits the different uh, palaces of Krishna. Actually, there are many things to learn from that chapter. Everyone should read each and every shloka of that chapter in detail from Bhagavatam. Each and every shloka they have to read in detail from that. What are the daily activities that Krishna is doing? Somewhere he is waking up and going to take bath. Somewhere else he is what he is doing? He is doing his morning Sandhya Vandanam. Somewhere else he is worshipping Shaligrama. Somewhere else he is meditating on the Supreme Lord. Somewhere else he is performing household works. Somewhere else he is having a happy time playing with his wife, playing dice. In some other place, he is making children ready to send them. And in somewhere else, he is getting his children married. So the funny thing is, at one place, he is he is putting a different vesha. What is that? He is disguise. And he is going and finding out what his ministers talk about him. In one of the palaces, he is disguised and in a different form, he is going out and finding what his ministers are gossiping. And Narad Muni, when he sees that, he can't control his laughter. Why he laughs? Any guess?
He is Sarvagya, since he is Sarvagya, and
Sarvasya
still
Cham Hridhi Sannivishto. He is in everyone's heart. He knows everything. He knows what the minister's heart is there. What is in their heart. Still, he is doing that. Why he is doing that means a proper grasta has to be conscious of so many things around. He has to be conscious of where money is coming from, how family maintenance is happening. Is the wife satisfied? Are the children satisfied? Are the neighbors speaking good about me or no? Is my deity worship happening properly? Is my Sandhyavandanam karma happening properly? Am I giving donations properly? So many things a householder is responsible for. And in this responsibility, he has to perform devotional service. So that is the speciality of a householder. So Janakadeya and Sanakadeya. Sanakadeya are renunciates and Janakadeya are householders. So a householder should act responsibly. So that is the point. Now, the question still comes as to how to decide I am of which category. Am I to be a person of a role model or am I to be a person of a renunciation of karma? Because if it is mentioned in Shastras, there must be some candidates who will demonstrate that renunciation also. Otherwise, what is the point in Shastra mentioning? Are you getting my question? Are you
Yes,
getting
Prabhu.
the question?
Yes, yes.
What do you think?
So can we call it nishkama karma? Because by nishkam karma, like if we define karma, then it is an act which is like Jiva Goswami had described karma as an act which fills the gap of apurnata and purnata. But if we by bhakti and by our sadhana, if we are already achieved that purnata, then whatever karma we are doing, it will not act as a karma, as it will not produce any punya or papa. So it is karma and it is not karma.
That's perfect explanation. There is no doubt about that. As long as it is done for yajna and it is done in a nishkama way without desire, then it is transcendental only. You will not get the reaction of it. Because yajna shistashina santo muchanti sarvakil vishay. It's all gone. Now, why does Shastra describe about that you have to give up all these karmas and you have to be on the jnana marga or you have to be on the bhakti marga and the highest who has given up all these things? That means there must be some people who will give up also, right?
Yes.
Because
I, yes.
karmas would have, yeah, sorry.
Yes, Mataji, karma.
Yes, so it can be that people perform many vratas, they do a lot of karmas, but they don't know the jnana or the bhava behind it.
Okay, so you mean to say that people, when they are promoted on the karma market, they should also be given knowledge about it. Okay, fine. Sudhanshu, what do you want to say?
Yes. It is always Lord Krishna also says, "Loke asmin dvidha nishta." There is always two types of nishtas, but of course there are very few who has Gyan Nishtha. Mostly there is Karma
How to
Nishtha only.
identify those few? That is a question.
Okay. That is, I think, only seniors can tell.
Anybody else can think
Will.
about it.
Prabhuji, can you
Can you
repeat the
repeat the
question?
question?
Sorry?
Can you repeat the question, Prabhuji?
Yes, you see, earlier we started this with saying that anybody who is in the marg of jnana or pure devotion, he has no responsibility to perform any karma. Correct? But we established that for ordinary people whose senses are not controlled, the karma marga is required. Then the question that came up is why for pure devotees? Pure devotees, nothing is required. They are on pure platform. But pure devotees like Janaka Maharaj and Krishna did perform prescribed duties to set a role model for others. They were not attached to it. They were not attached to the results of it. But to be a proper role model, they performed the prescribed duties. Okay. Now, why is the concept of giving up karma mentioned? Does it mean that there are some people who are candidates for giving up karma also in society? If everyone is engaged in just doing karma, some are engaged purely, some are engaged not purely, but everyone is doing, then why Shastra gives that injunction that some people will give it up also? Who are those people?
I think. So I will now.
Sannyasis.
Can I
So
try? Uh,
Prabhuji's answer, Sudhanshu Prabhu's answer was that there are two, one is karma and jnana marga. So those who are on jnana marga are very rare and those are the people who will give it up. So agreed, but how to recognize or officially recognize that jnana marga? Sudhanshu Prabhu, just a minute, we will see if somebody else can also answer. Anybody else can now answer about it. See, these why I'm asking, these are critical. These are very subtle points where there is lot of confusion, and many a times we have laziness to perform certain things like Shraddha karma of our ancestors or some other things. We have laziness to perform. We want to avoid these things, and we use bhakti as a reason to avoid. Saying, "Oh, I am on the path of devotion. I just have to chant Hare Krishna. I don't have a responsibility to do any of these things." So that if we are not on the highest level of pure devotion, not doing these things can be sinful also. So that is why there is a need to understand this properly. So yes, Vaikuntanand Prabhu, you are saying something?
Prabhu, as a whole in a society, everybody has to follow the rituals, even though someone is in the pure devotional service. And he will not tell that I'm in the pure devotional service, and still he will perform his duties. And pure devotional service is very confidential, and it's very difficult to identify a person who is a pure devotee. And that's my
Yeah, so
even to
it's very
identify
difficult.
someone is pure, that person has to be pure.
So even if somebody is pure, he still has to perform it out of duty, correct? So we cannot give up. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Anything else? Okay, let us see.
Also,
Yes.
the question you had asked that uh, I'll just like to confirm that why is the elimination of karma then more like promoted, right?
Why it is mentioned in scriptures?
So basically, karma is undeniably not avoidable, but it is also not the ultimate because karma uh, basically leads to again the emerging of fruits and the continuation of the Janma Mrityu cycle.
Yes. So the point
So
here is
can
that somebody who has given this up, somebody who is a role model for that. So there is a Brahma Sutra, Urdhvaretas Sucha Shabdehi, 3.4.17. The sutra says Vidya is independent of karma because the renunciate acts as he desires according to scriptures. And in that explanation, Baldev Vidyabhushan quotes Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Tasmat Brahmana Pandityam Nirvidya Balyena Tishtaset Balyam cha Pandiyam cha Nirvidyatha Munir अमौनम च निर्विद्यता ब्रह्मणः स ब्रह्मणः केन स्यात् येन स्यात् तेन दृशः. Therefore, a renounced knower of Brahman, having heard about Brahman, should desire to contemplate with a pure heart. Having heard and contemplated, he becomes absorbed in meditation. Having heard, contemplated, be situated. Having renounced all karmas, he is equal to one who has performed all karmas. Brahad Aranyaka Upanishad. So, the renunciates or the sannyasis, those who officially receive the title of sannyasa, those who officially take sannyasa, they have no karmas to perform. There is no obligation on them to perform sandhya vandana. There is no obligation to perform something. They are not supposed to perform something which is meant for earning money. They are not supposed to work for earning money at all. Then similarly, they don't have any jata karma or namakarana or any samskaras to be done. They give up all agni. They even give up shraddha because at the time of sannyasa they perform their own shraddha. So the sannyasi is supposed to give up all karmas. So in the varnashrama society, this act of renouncing everything, all the karmas, is officially demonstrated by a sannyasi. So he is supposed to demonstrate that knowledge will lead to a higher stand. And once we reach that higher stand, we give up all this karma. Whereas the grahastha, what he has to do, sakta karmanya vidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryan vidvams tatha saktas chikirshu loka sangram. Just as ignorant people work with attachment, O Bharata, the wise desirous to teach the people should perform work without desire for results. Bhagavad Gita 3.25. So the point here is that either you are a pure devotee or not a pure devotee. When you come to the platform where you officially get sannyasa, that is when externally also you will be able to demonstrate this jnana marga and karma nivrutti. Sanakadaya were like that. Sanakadaya and Janakadaya both are pure devotees. Despite both being pure devotees, one is a sannyasi, one is a grahastha. Being a sannyasi, they demonstrate karma nivrutti, and being a grahastha, they demonstrate performing of karma even though they are pure devotees. Got the difference? So now if a question comes in our mind whether devotees should perform certain prescribed duties or not perform certain prescribed duties, whether devotees should do this karma or not do this karma, if such a doubt comes, then it's very simple answer. In varnashrama society, are you a sannyasi or a grahastha? If you are a grahastha, irrespective of being a pure devotee or no, you have to perform your prescribed duties. If you are a sannyasi, then you are on the jnana marga, you will get karma nivritti. So that solves the problem. So here we are speaking of sakshat parampara, that is literal and mediated path. So mediated path is there for every grahastha. Every householder, irrespective of him being pure or no, he should perform a mediated path for two reasons. Either he is not purified, he has to purify himself, and so he has to perform. Or if he is a pure devotee, he has to perform for loka sangraha, for the welfare of others, for giving guidance for others, he has to perform. So as long as he is in householder life, there is no discount on getting relief from prescribed duties. When you officially receive the sannyasa pada, that is when you can actually demonstrate in society that you have practically left the karma mark. Is this clear for all of you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Any doubts in this?
Prabhuji, you have mentioned, can I ask a question, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, please.
Prabhu, you have mentioned that there are certain people who perform the rituals and then they go to the heavenly planets. So these things we quite often we read in the Shastras. But in the realistic world, it's very difficult. We don't see such persons who are performing rituals, having an aspiration to go to the heavenly planets. And if you please tell us, especially in the modern world.
Yeah, modern world people are not so much conscious of heaven or something, but there is at least some consciousness of punya. They have a consciousness that I have to do to gather some punya. There is benefit if I do some graha shanti, if I do some dosha parihara, if I do some yajnas, then at least I will get some punya karma. I'll be happy. So at least that consciousness, material consciousness is there among people. Now, if the devotees are performing the same karmas and repeating the same mantra, Veda mantras, but if they are consciousness, if they are conscious of Purushottama Yoga, that it is the Supreme Lord that is being glorified through the same Veda mantras, whatever Veda mantras are, whatever yajnas, samskaras are, they are, each word is actually glorifying the Supreme Lord. So that way, if we meditate on the Supreme Lord and his associates, the wonderful Vaikuntha Dhama and the wonderful Golok Dhama, if we are in that meditation and performing these, for example, you do Ghatastapana, Kalashastapana, and then you do some Shodashopchar Puja of Kalash, and then you invite Agni Avana and you do Yajna with Swaha, different Veda mantras. In all this process, you are meditating that you are offering the offerings to Supreme Lord Radha Krishna, or you are meditating on Sri Lakshmi Narayan and offering them. Your meditation, this whole thing is transcendental. So, but you are at the same time not avoiding your prescribed duties, you are not avoiding your karma, and you are making it transcendental by your meditation. So, that is the way we can actually do these things. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Anything else here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
I have understood this part what you told, but I have a question regarding this.
Yes.
That in our society, generally we think this is an idea that first we try for the Gyan Marga, and if somehow we are not successful, then we go for the Karma Marga. So, it is understood that unsuccessful person in the Gyan Marga should go into the Karma Marga. So, how to understand this?
Basically, what happens is we read only the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Second chapter is contents of Gita summarized. It is the index of the whole book. At the starting of the book, we have index. No? What happens if we just read the index and close the book? We'll get to know what titles are there, but we don't get the subject matter. So similarly, if in second chapter, I told you that you take initiation, you understand about soul, you become Sthita Prajna, and you go back to body. That's all we know about. So there is no mention of what action has to be done, what work has to be done. That is further dug in the third chapter, that our senses are still not under control. We have to be practical. We should understand that we have to do some karmas. Okay, so when we get into this, we have not come to third chapter yet. We are just reading second chapter. That is why we have this understanding that Jnana Marga is there. Then Karma Marga, we will see if somebody doesn't become that level. If somebody is not a devotee, then he can try these things. But that is not the case. Actually, if we read Bhagavad Gita in detail, we will understand that for everyone it's essential. It is not essential only for those who actually take sannyasa. Otherwise, for everyone, these things are essential. So that is why it is necessary that Bhagavad Gita as it is, we read in detail. What to speak of these things? Prameya Ratnavali, Brahma Sutras, they give utmost clarity on all these things. But even Bhagavad Gita gives a very good clarity. It means I'm not saying even Bhagavad Gita, Supreme Lord has composed Bhagavad Gita. It's wrong to say that. I'm sorry. But I'm saying Bhagavad Gita is considered a primary book for our Krishna conscious movement, and everyone must read it. So if that platform itself has so much clarity on all these things. So in that sense, I say.
Yes, Prabhu, but presentation is such that, na Prabhu, because it presented in this way actually. We
That's
start.
because no, that's because we have not gone in details of Bhagavad Gita. You see, the last six sections, last six chapters speak so much about our dealings in material world. Bhakti Yoga 12th chapter speaks of Bhakti Yoga, and you will get highest destination from devotional service. Okay. Now, what else is left? Once Bhakti Yoga is taught, you just do Bhakti Yoga and go back to God. What else is left? No, Krishna says that even if you understand Bhakti Yoga, you are eventually acting in the material world. You are acting with your body. So first understand Kshetra, Jnana, and then you understand how three modes are there. Then you understand Purushottama Yoga. So lot of things, divine and demonic nature. So, and finally the question comes, even with 17th chapter, everything is over. Still, why 18th chapter is there? Because finally you should understand what is Tyaga and what is sannyasa. The discrimination we should be able to do. That is what today's topic of discussion. It's coming in 18th chapter. That there is a difference between tyaga and sannyasa. Yajna, dana, tapa, karma. These should not tyaj. You should never leave them. Krishna says. Yajna, dana, tapasya, karma. You should never leave them. Is what he says in 18.5. So in Bhagavad Gita, all this is given in quite detail.
So, because what understand we generally, this also sometimes I face this type of question. Generally, when we see in case of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says that he surrendered in second chapter, 2.7. But then he asks question and get. But generally, it is said that initiation means uh, Kariste Vachanam Tavad, that 18th chapter. So
सर्वधर्मान्
generally,
परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचि.
This is also, and this Karisya Vachanam when he last says Nashto Moha Smritir Labdha Prasarjana
One thing,
Nachita. So
all of you, please don't mind. I'm getting too much into Bhagavad Gita. It's all connected, so that's why I'm getting into it. So, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vaja. Okay, let's take just this shloka. What is Krishna asking us to leave? Generally, what we give in our lectures is that Krishna explains everything in detail: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, all the Varnashrama Dharma, everything he explains. Finally, he tells, leave all that and just listen to me. Correct. It is like a preacher sitting on the stage and talking, trying to preach, to giving counseling to somebody, and finally he says, just listen to me. What is the use of all this thing? That is how we preach, right?
yes,
Actually, just a few shlokas before, no need to go too far. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is too far. Just few shlokas before 18.66, what Krishna is telling, He is explaining the duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Then he builds a very strong case. Sve sve karmanya virata samsiddhir labate nara. You should get perfection by doing your own work. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Stri, whatever position you are in, from your work only you have to get perfection. Swadharme nidana shreyo paradharma bhaya. Don't think of others' work. Others' work is dangerous. You do your work only. Your prescribed duty you do. Don't do others' duty. And if you do others' duty, you will be lost. So much he emphasizes on your work, your work, your work. It doesn't make sense that all of a sudden he will say abandon all work. What we understand from this is that he is asking you to abandon parodharma because Arjuna has to fight a war, he has to kill so many people, so much sin is involved in that. Whereas Brahmana, he just has to sit and do swaha, he has to put all the pure havish, all the ghee and rice in the yajna. And once all of that is done, prasadam is served to him, he has to eat prasadam and go home. Then all will eat the remnants. So Brahmana's life is so pure. Whereas I have to kill such sinful. Then he says, don't worry about that sin. You do your work, sins that are coming out, I will take care. If you are doing like this, then you will reach the stage of Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto. If you are doing Paradharma, all the energy will go in learning the subject and maintaining yourself. Whereas if you are doing Swadharma, that's your skill, you are talented. Veda Karma Kaushalam. That's your skill, you are talented in that. You can save time to meditate on the Lord. Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto becomes possible. So Sarvadharman Paratyaja doesn't indicate that Krishna wants us to reject his own state. It indicates that Krishna wants us to reject the paradharmas and the sins in Swadharma he will take care. That seems to be the most logical understanding we derive when we read it. Does that make sense to all of you? Or you can present if you have conflicting views or if you think it is otherwise, you can feel free to present. It's a discussion. We are all learning. I am also learning.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I think sometime it is also told that both are told. You, also this parodharma you have to give up. One is give up all dharma in terms of what you say action also. In literal sense, I think some commentator told like that.
Ultimately,
So,
what did Arjuna do after the war?
That is the point, Prabhu. Here comes the point because he after that he not only he fought, after that they ruled also for 37 years. It is not that only Krishna says so he just they fought for
He did
that and
war.
they said
He
okay
engaged
now
in his Swadharma. So the point here is that disciple should surrender to Guru. No doubt about that. Disciple should leave everything and surrender to Guru. Shishya Seham Shadimam Tamprapan. Finally, he has to surrender to Krishna. There is no doubt about that also. But it is the Guru's responsibility. When the disciple is surrendered, Guru can order anything, right? He can order a Shudra to become Brahmana. He can order a Brahmana to become Shudra. He has freedom to do it. But no, Guru is responsible to order the disciple only according to his Swadharma and not. So disciple may surrender to keep the disciple in his own dharma. That is what I could understand from this Sarva Dharma Parityajati. Does it make sense? Do you all agree with this? Because it's very deeply connected, because it has to do with our dharma, swadharma. Then you will get a shloka from Bhagavatam, Tektva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajanna pakvota pato iti. Tatra kvava bhadrama bhutamushikim. Kovartha apto bhajatam swadharma. Kovartha apto bhajatam swadharma. What is the use of following swadharma? How will you explain this?
Hare Krishna
Others can
Prabhuji.
also.
So what I think about this, generally, because Bhagavatam is the, we can say, is the commentary of Vedanta Sutra, we say. So Vedanta Sutra means he has already followed dharma. It is it's actually afterwards of the what we say Karma Mimamsa. So in that sense, of course, when it is Vedanta, then their statement will be always towards what we say nice karma or not nice karma to give up the dharma. What I understand.
Anybody else would like to
But
try?
Gita is Mahabharata. So here we can say dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They are given all
Okay. Anybody else would like
importance.
to try? Bhuvartha apta bhujatam sudharma. What is the use of following Sudharma? Yes, are all able to hear me? Others would like to try this point. Understood?
What is the question, Prabhu?
In Bhagavatam it says, Tektva Sadharmam Charnabhujam. If you leave your Swadharma and take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord, even if you are not doing properly bhajans, you are still situated properly. What is the use of following your Swadharma? It says.
Because until we,
Honestly.
yes, shall I speak or like Hare Krishna? So basically, till the time we are surrendered to Krishna, till that time the Swadharma will purify us, like our mind
How are
and
we going to know?
everything. Hello?
How are we going to know? Just like you are turning your vehicle indicator, you put the light gets on. Get to know. So similarly, what is the indicator of surrender?
Yes, right question. So there are many basically of like how we can identify the basically the guna, like not guna exactly, the I'm not getting that word properly. Basically the effects or like Shastra mein jo diye, no, I think so. There are in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu only that how Nishtha, then uh, uh, like time waste nahi karna hai, like avish, avishya. I'm just sorry, what's that verse? Basically, there are many such effects after the surrender.
Hmm. Anybody
Sorry, I'm
else?
not able to answer it properly.
No, anybody else would like to try? You did a good job. See, when he says Tektvat Swadharmam Charnambujam Harir Bhajanat Bhagavad, this is a glorification of Hari Bhajan. This is not an instruction to give up Swadharma. It's a glorification of Hari Bhajan that even a person who has given up his Swadharma, who is a sannyasi, he is still uh, he has taken complete shelter of the Supreme Lord. He, even if he doesn't properly chant bhajan, still he is situated in the highest plane. If you are just attached to your Swadharma and you don't chant Hare Krishna, what is the use? This is the way you have to understand it. Then it will tally with Bhagavad Gita understanding of Swadharme Nidana Shreyo Paradharma Bhayavaha. Otherwise, if we think that one must give up Swadharma by hearing this verse, then it conflicts with Bhagavad Gita. And two Shastras cannot conflict with each other. So that is how we have to understand. Is this clear? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, then. So we'll end here. Yes.
But we see in Bhagavatam not only this sloka, everywhere it is somehow the Vedanta, towards Vedanta or towards renunciation, it is more glorified in whatever way. Uh, what, in cases of uh, we see
Understood your question.
where Grasta.
Understood your question. Where detachment and renunciation are glorified, that is simply point that there is external or internal renunciation. If there is external renunciation like Sanak, Sanat, and Sanatan, Sanat Kumar, then they leave karma and they are completely on dhyana. People like Janak Maharaj who are internally renounced follow prescribed duties outside, but internally they develop renunciation. So, based on this theme only, you have to understand all those statements which are found in different places in the Bhagavad. not in
Prabhu, it
Manu.
is not about only statement, Prabhu. We see in action, like in case of Prachin, Barhi, in case of Prachetas also, then in case of 10, 11,000 this sons
Chetas were
of Daksh.
brahmacharis. Prachetas were brahmachari. Brahmachari has to perform austerities. But Prachinapari, he got renounced, and because of renunciation, he went. Vanaprastha is okay. Vanaprastha ashram, he went, and the others were brahmacharis, and brahmacharis came back and got married eventually.
No, in case of Daksha, 11,000. They were
Ah,
went also for the
they took
matlab,
sannyas.
preparation
They
for
took
progeny.
sannyasa. Sannyasa is okay. Anyone who is eligible to take sannyasa, he can be just given sannyasa directly. Then he has no karma to do. But not for everyone. You see the number of people who took sannyasa in Bhagavatam and number of people who got married. The number of married list is more because so many kings were there in Surya Vamsha, so many kings in Chandra Vamsha. So it's naturally more.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, okay, then we will close for today and we'll continue next week. I hope you are finding this discussion interesting.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।